I want to talk about in this video about the current trend that's occurring out there with criminals using technology to not only commit crimes but also to cover their tracks. And in doing so, not just committing the crimes but in covering their tracks, they divert the attention to other people. Currently, there's technology in place where these criminals can spoof your email address, your IP address, the hardware address of your computer, your telephone number, whether it's a house phone or a cell phone number. And I will tell you this: no one is safe right now. No one. They can do it to anybody. And in most cases, it may be happening here in the United States. It may be happening overseas. There's no telling where this person is located that is spoofing your information. So literally, these criminals can make it look like, and this happened recently, by the way, to the local law enforcement agency here where I live, where people received a phone call. Caller ID showed that it was this local law enforcement agency, and it was in fact the number of a local law enforcement agency. But obviously, the person calling was not from that law enforcement agency, and they tried to extort money out of innocent people. Now, they can do text messages, they can do phone calls and make it look like it's coming from your phone. They can do emails and make it look like you sent the email right down to your IP address and the hardware MAC address. And so what law enforcement is doing, because they seem to be a bit behind the curve on this technology, they're conducting investigations. And I'll use one example. A little over a year ago, they're doing all these investigations, people downloading illegal material, child pornography. They go in and they kick in these doors, and they find out that people that they kick in the doors of aren't the people that's done the downloading, but someone that has used their IP address. And the IP address, obviously, they trace the IP address. Oh, it comes back to John Doe here, and then we're going to kick in John Doe's door, or we're going to kick in John Doe's door. And and they apologize to John Doe and return John Doe's equipment, a computer, whatever they seized during an investigation. But still, John Doe's name has been dragged through the mud. People are speculating about John Doe and what kind of character he is, and there's been damage done to the properties. And at this point, who pays for that? Well, not the police, and not the person who knows where on the planet doing this. The homeowner, the business owner, whoever it is left to absorb this cost. So this is not a victimless crime. John Doe is the victim in this crime, along with anybody else in this. So I'm encouraging everyone to protect themselves as much as they can. Obviously, change the default passwords of your routers, your wireless router, any equipment you receive from your internet service provider. If there's a default password to access the administrative functions on the router, as well as the password to access your Wi-Fi, change it, make it complex, something not easy to guess, special characters, numbers, letters, upper, lowercase. Same thing with your computer, also your cell phone, PIN access on the touch screen, pattern drawing, whichever it is. Also complex passwords on your email address. Now obviously this is really not going to protect you, but it is at least going to make it easier for your actual email, your actual network, your actual PCs from being compromised directly. So while they may still be able to spoof this information, they will not be able to directly use yours, which would be a lot harder to prove that it was not in fact you doing some kind of illegal activity. There was another recent story somewhere about someone sending death threats to somebody via text message or phone call. Again, information was spoofed. It was not even the person's phone. The phone was not even here in the United States. I mean, it was just, but still, they go directly to the person. They follow the most obvious course. And with this new technology, with these criminals, you cannot follow the most direct route and get your bad guy. In terms of technology, those days are over. We live in this global village, and so the days of going right to the whodunit and finding your guy is over. So I'm encouraging law enforcement to invest money into new tech, into training staff on how to use this tech, to be able to find these small telltale traces, these small breadcrumbs, to catch the bad guys and not go kicking in doors of innocent, unawares citizens and taxpayers. You know, taxpayers have a burden of tax to support your agencies, and well, it's kind of adding insult to injury to come kick in their doors, and then they've got to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars to do repair to property damage when they haven't even done anything wrong. And at best, they get an apology, and at worst, they don't even get that. Um, in some cases, people have actually, it's been arrested and asked questions later, and you know what, the person's name, their reputation is sullied, and you can't fix that. And, once that's done, it's over. And so I'm encouraging law enforcement to take their time, conduct better investigations, use better technology, have better trained staff. I'm encouraging also the average user to increase their security efforts on their own systems and to just be aware of what's going on out there.